Well, as she hinted during the press conference, that was a major turning point on the part of the protesters. Don't forget, about a couple of days or barely a week ago, there was one full day of peaceful protest without any violence. I mean, normally for the past couple of months, all these peaceful protests are followed by evenings of violence and arson and things like that. And during that particular Sunday or Saturday, I can't remember the weekend, there was a deliberate show that the protesters are capable of non-violence for the whole day. And that was a signal of a kind of wish for the kind of calming down on both sides. So I think that Carrie Lam has taken that signal into account. Because all the while, of course, there was consultation with Beijing because the whole thing is not just Hong Kong. It's now affecting the international arena with trade talks and so on and so forth. But then the previous perception was that giving in to these demands is a kind of condoning this violence. But that signal was picked up, and hence now.
So if she withdraws that bill now, which she has done, will this be seen as condoning violence, and by whom? Protesters or pro-Beijing legislators?
Well, I don't think that now the reason why it's Carrie Lam is prepared to use the word withdrawal is also to send a signal to create a dialogue, seizing the moment, and also the violent side is now being confronted with a very vigorous police enforcement. A lot of people have been arrested, and some of the ringleaders and some of the persons instigating some of these violence have been arrested and charged. So this is a very clear signal that this violence has got to be separated by the peaceful protest, which of course is a feature in Hong Kong.
All right, Mr. Leung, in fact, if you look at the 5 demands made by protesters, and I repeat them here quickly, withdrawal of the bill, independent investigation into allegations of police brutality, universal suffrage, dropping charges against protesters, and for protests not to be classified as riots. The one demand, which is the withdrawal of the bill, doing that is the one thing that actually makes no material difference to Hong Kong. It was effectively dead. So why did it matter, and why does it matter that now that it is formally withdrawn?
Well, it matters a great deal because previously the Hong Kong government is standing very firm to all of the demands, even the first demand, which is easy to concede. But the Carrie Lam, as you said, it was already said the bill is dead. But giving in to that demand at a time of rising, escalating violence is not a very, very good timing. So now's the time. But the more important thing is the idea of setting up an independent commission of inquiry. And that seems to have wide support. So why is Carrie Lam not following this? Now, the unsaid subtext is, of course, as far as allegations against the police are concerned, these are adequately handled by this expanded role of the Independent Police Complaints Council, drawing on the international experts. The experts are coming from almost the 4 of the 5 eyes, you know, the UK, Canada, and so on. But then the other concern is that once you have this independent commission, any evidence tendered at the commission cannot be used for prosecution. So that is the danger that this could be a shelter for criminals, for rioters to turn themselves in and to exempt themselves from any kind of responsibility. So that's I think that left unsaid. But I think that this the hope is that the administration is now seizing this opportunity to create a basis for some sort of dialogue. As the chief executive said, it's only the first step.